are out for a girls' day with your mother and your daughter, and you all decide to stop at a boutique to get some coffee, and unfortunately your child ends up breaking one of the tables. Hey guys, I'm looking for some advice, and hopefully you can help me figure out broken tables, $1,600, shame, embarrassment, and mean girls robbing your dignity, priceless. I know I wasn't put together and dolled up, but couldn't you have been just a bit kind?
So I'm looking for some advice. Hey guys, I'm looking for some advice, and hopefully you can help me figure out how to deal with this situation. I took my 3-year-old daughter and 76-year-old mom for coffee and ice cream, and we're at the beach, so we went to this local place in Levelette called Hazel Boutique, and I had my mom and daughter sit at a table to wait for me while I was getting the coffee, just because the place was so packed. I'm at the register paying for a coffee, and I hear a loud bang, and I look, and my daughter, who was trying to push the table away from her, pushed it over, and the table, which I later learned was 600 pounds, broke into a bunch of pieces. It was a stone table. So I'm freaking out. I first I want to get to her and make sure everything's okay, so I push through the crowd. I check on her, see if she's all right, if she got hurt, if anybody else got hurt. I was so grateful there was nobody else on the other end of that table, because their leg could have been amputated. It was so heavy. It was just like a big piece of granite, I think. And my mom's so nervous and she's embarrassed, and I talked to the people there, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. What could I do to make this right?" And my daughter's just she's not crying, she's not reaching for me, she's not calling mommy, she's just kind of frozen and scared and nervous, and everybody's reaction definitely didn't help. But the kicker was when I finally got on with the owner, because things went down a way that I could have never anticipated or expected. So there was a nice gentleman named Michael there who works there, I believe, as a barista, and he was the only one who was very kind and saw how extremely uncomfortable and embarrassing the situation was, and he was just a point of contact that I kept looking over to, because he just kept saying, "It's okay, it's all right, it's okay, don't worry, are you okay?" or something along those lines. Everybody else kind of had mean girl vibes, and I understand they were upset. I completely get it. And I was ready to pay for the damages, and that wasn't the issue. When the owner got on the phone, I said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, we're so embarrassed, da, da, da." My daughter even kept saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry."
Best case scenario happened is no one got injured by the table falling over, and you have someone that is willing to cover the cost of the table and is trying to get to a solution to the problem that her toddler has caused. These are the type of people that you want to do. So there's no reason to be mean or rude to this person. I can understand the owner being frustrated in a sense too, because that's her shop, and your child just broke a very expensive piece of furniture. She said the little girl was trying to push the table away, and the table weighed 600 pounds. In my mind, if it weighs 600 pounds, a 3-year-old toddler, because they kick and scream, they stronger than they look. But the fact that she was just able to just push it over is really beyond me. So it may have not been stable in the beginning either, and that could have been a safety hazard as well.
Sorry. But she didn't say much more than that, and she's very, very chatty usually, So anyway, the owner said, "Well, the table is almost $2,000. It's $1,600. So you can't leave until I have your license and a credit card." And I said, okay, well, I have to leave because I have to make sure that she's okay. She's surrounded by 50 people now. She's 3. And, I want to make sure my kid's all right. So let me go get her checked out, make sure she didn't get hurt. Bits and pieces of this table, broke off into a million directions. Let me just catch my breath and make sure she's okay. I said, I gave you all my contact information. She required an email too. I gave her that. She got an email. She got my husband's information, our cell phone numbers, but I wasn't allowed to leave.
Driver's license and insurance is all you got to give when you get in a car accident. If you giving them the proper information, you cannot hold anybody hostage. That's considered kidnapping, believe it or not.
And I don't know how that works, but I wasn't allowed to leave. I couldn't leave until I provided her a picture of my license or a picture of my husband's driver's license or my credit card for the $1,600 table. And I said, I have to call you back and we can, figure it out. But I do have to take care of my kid.
To me, they doing a little bit too much. Also, I wonder if she has any insurance at the shop to handle things of that nature. Because most people can't afford $1,600 straight off the rip, especially in this economy. She was willing to pay. She was willing to leave some of her information. But I really think they should have just called the police and made a police report for this incident. It would have been a lot easier. And I personally would have felt safer doing it that way because, ma'am, I don't know you and I'm not going to leave my credit card on file with you so you can make a huge purchase. Nah, go ahead, hit me with the civil suit.
Anyway, it was a big scene, big absolute, and all she kept repeating was, our policy is you break it, you pay for it. You break it, you bought it. And I was so surprised because not one time on the phone did she ask if Allie was okay or if anybody else got hurt. She didn't once say, hey, is your daughter all right? Is she shaken up? I was completely humiliated and embarrassed, and I've cried since. I took my daughter to urgent care because she was in a weird state about her, She was just so, I mean, it was loud. Can you imagine a solid stone table dropping to the ground?
See, I got nephews, and my nephews is on the hard-headed side, and they get into stuff. They reaction a little bit different. They might cry, and then they be over it the next second, trying to get into something else. I can understand how it could have been startling to her. But I think you're being overdramatic, and I don't think your daughter was as startled as you're putting on. And it wasn't 50 people around her because it wasn't 50 people in that shop. So cup the cap. Kids knock stuff over all the time, and they go on about their day. And as to you, why are you crying? I can see you crying because you got to pay that woman $1,600. But other than that, I don't see a reason to drop tears. Because for what? Y'all be so willing to cry over minor stuff. So while the owner has an attitude because she's upset her table done broke, she better go start looking at some better pieces of furniture. Because that right there is a safety hazard. And if a 3-year-old is able to knock it over, you got a huge problem on your hand. Because if that little girl got hurt or someone else got hurt, you got a lawsuit.
And all the owner kept repeating was, we have everything on video. I stuck around for 20 minutes to give you my contact information so that you can contact me so that I can make it right by you guys and your business. So for you to keep repeating that everything's on video, I'm not disputing the fact that my kid pushed your table. That's what happened. And I'm glad no one was hurt. But I don't know how to deal with this now, So anyway, I took my daughter to urgent care, and the PA there, she was so sweet. She explained that, she was probably in just a state of shock. So, yeah, that was what happened. We're at the Jersey Shore in Lavallette, and I would love any feedback that that you guys can offer if anything similar has happened to you. How you went about it is like this Mean Girls thing something that we're doing now, because it was disgusting. Like, my mom's got tears in her eyes and she's crying because she's older, so everything gets her nervous. And these days, I'm like trying to keep it together and like having the absolute worst pushback. And am I crazy?
Yes. You both. I feel like you over dramatic. It happened. You can't cry over spilled milk. And I know kids can be dramatic. Like I said, I have my youngest nephew. He feel like his arm broke. He like this. And he like, no, I can't bend it and stuff to make an urgent care appointment. We go up there. He all touching on the screen. Y'all feeling good. Doctor touch his arm. He all smiling and stuff. Just a few minutes ago, he was whining. Like kids could be like dumb dramatic. If she has business insurance, I'm assuming that it works the same way as car insurance works. And they could contact you and you guys can solve the matter that way. And I think that is probably how you all should move forward and not get too wrapped up in your feelings. You didn't deny your daughter did it. The owner was probably just in her feelings that your kid broke something at a store. I get it. But calm down, because ma'am, you was a few seconds away from a lawsuit. This is the table that they are. Have people that are going to be leaning on the table. And if it's waddling with them putting that weight on it, it's not stable enough to be in your boutique. So that right there, I consider that a safety hazard, and most people probably would. And although it looks nice, that's not for you. Go find you something else. I think it's wild you took her to the ER for this. I think it's weird you expected them to cater to your feelings. Consequences have actions.
Hi, Hannah. So you think it's wild that I took my 3-year-old daughter to an urgent care to get checked out after a stone slab of a table fell around her? Well, I'll explain why I did. So not only was I in a state of extreme anxiety, because as I was trying to tend to my toddler and my elderly mom, I was being pulled out from and away from them to speak to the owner of the establishment so that I can make immediate payment on the damages. Because of my state of anxiety, I wanted to make sure that I had a set of eyes, a medical professional, assess my daughter physically, as well as her mental state, because she was in a state of shock and completely frozen. She wasn't responding to my questions of what I was asking her, how it happened, what happened, was she all right, was she hurt? And since I didn't trust myself at the moment because of my anxiety, which at times is crippling, I thought it was best to go to an urgent care, which was close by, just to have someone take a look at her. So that's why I did that. And to answer your second comment, you thought that it was weird that I expected them to cater to my feelings. Yeah, it would be weird. You're right. It would be super weird if I expected a business to cater to my feelings. Essentially what I asked them to do is, please send me a bill for the damages. And I was met with, no, we need your driver's license and a credit card right now. And if you don't have it, you need to contact your husband and get it. That's what I was met with. I simply asked for, please send me a bill, send me a receipt of what you paid for the table, etc., all the details so we can get it sorted when everyone is nice and calm and I was able to tend to my child. So, if you have further questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Ma'am, I get that you have anxiety, but your child wasn't injured and you want to go to the hospital, fine. You won't my first thought to this, she was gearing up for a lawsuit. If you want me to keep it a buck, she's gonna have to pay for the table. Dad's gonna have to pay for her daughter's medal and the story. You could tell, especially when it's something like that. If a piece of that granite had grazed her, there would have been blood. There would have been some wound. She would have had a bruise. She was not hurt. She was not injured. She was probably like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. Obviously, they need to work on their customer service and how they deal with these matters. Even when things don't go your way and customers tick you off or clients or whatever, you still have to have a certain level of professionalism when you're dealing with them. The little girl knocked over the table. She's not going to be the first, and she will not be the last child that breaks something in your store. And you talking about you need to call your husband, you need to do this, you need to do that. I'm still stuck on why ain't nobody called the police. Because I'm not leaving my credit card there. Because you ain't just about to tell me, oh, that table cost $1,600 without any receipts. You just ain't about to be charging my card all willy-nilly for something that you do not sell in your store. You show me how much this table costs, I'll buy it and have it sent to this address. Because you could be trying to scam me. How does a 3-year-old push a 600-pound table over? You're not liable. They are liable because they have a duty to protect anybody that enters their store.
So a bunch of people have actually been asking me this, and thanks to TikTok and you guys, we found out that the table is actually a console table from Anthropologie. It's a marble console table, and it's not even meant to be used as dining or cafe table. So I appreciate you guys and all the comments that everyone's been leaving, and have just been super helpful. It was the weight distribution of the table, so she was pushing on here, and whereas normal table would move away, you know, like this is a light aluminum table, but because of the weight distribution, it's hard to even push it because it's standing on, you know, all fours. Whereas that table has like these two marble columns, so easy to topple over. And that's what happened. She doesn't lift weights professionally, but yes, for everyone asking how she...
And since this incident occurred, they have removed those tables from the restaurant. When you're in business, you should always make sure that you're doing everything in your power to not get sued and to make sure that your restaurant is safe. And as crazy as it sounds, she should be thankful that that little girl knocked that table over and no one got injured, because it gave her an opportunity to fix the problem before it became an even bigger problem. It was cute, but it's not meant for that. The company released a statement after the lady dropped that video. First and foremost, we are extremely grateful that the 3-year-old girl, her grandmother, and every customer who was present are safe and unharmed. We understand this incident may have been startling when the table fell with a loud noise, and our priority has been to ensure the family felt supported and cared for. Clear surveillance footage confirms that the young girl accidentally kicked the table, causing it to tip over. Thankfully, it did not strike anyone, and the child showed no signs of distress, walking away calmly from the scene. Following the incident, we personally called the child's mother to express our concern, offer our support, and share our direct contact information should she need anything. As an added precaution, we have since removed all tables from our location to eliminate any risk of a similar incident. We also want to be completely transparent. We would never hold anyone against their will. The mother was not charged for the damaged table, even after asking how could she make it right given the table broke. We requested her contact information for insurance purposes. I told y'all that's what they're supposed to do. So it's their word against hers. Mind you, from the video footage, you can't see whether or not she's in shock. At Hazel Boutique, safety and hospitality are the foundation of everything we do. While this was an unfortunate and rare occurrence, our commitment to creating a safe, welcoming environment for every guest has never been stronger. We are incredibly thankful for our loyal customers and communities we serve, and will continue to do everything possible to ensure their safety and well-being. Hazel Boutique. A lot of people were upset with this particular response because they felt like they did not apologize to the woman because she said that they were rude to her. A win is a win on both sides. The little girl didn't get injured. They said that they're not charging the woman with the table, and they got the information for insurance purposes, that doesn't mean that their insurance isn't going to send her a bill to recoup their money. So I just want to put that out there. Her video did go viral with 14 million views. Hazel Boutique, their comment section is turned off. Hopefully they make the necessary adjustments and get some tables that aren't so easily to push over. And that's really what it boils down to. The owner don't owe her an apology. The mother accepted what was said to her and she's moved forward. A few days ago, an unfortunate incident occurred at the Hazelnut Cafe. My 3-year-old daughter accidentally knocked over a table, which damaged it. I immediately offered to pay for any damages. As stated in my TikTok video, an acting manager at Hazelnut Cafe told me I wasn't allowed to leave unless I provided a copy of my driver's license and credit card to pay for the table. It was a very stressful situation, especially with my toddler there. I am so thankful and humbled by the outpouring of public support. It has meant the world to our family since the incident. Hazelnut Cafe did reach out to apologize for how our family was treated. We have accepted their apology and are satisfied. We want to move forward peacefully and do not wish to comment on this matter any further. Okay. She pushed it. Yeah. She was probably trying to push it away so she can go be with her mother. That's what it looks like. The table wasn't stable. Based on the footage, the girl didn't seem like she was too startled. The grandmother is clearly watching the child properly. Mistakes happen. It ain't that deep.
Hi everyone, I'm just here to say that I have never given consent and won't be giving consent to use, get out of here, to use my daughter and her image or her video in any posts. Please, I'm asking you as a mother, please don't repost this. I appreciate all of your support, but this is a 3-year-old toddler, and I think you've all seen the video, and I'm just asking you, please don't repost it. I get it, it's trending, but it's my kid, so please. And no, I have not given consent for that video to be released.
At this particular point, ma'am, like, you the one that posted this online. I can understand you not wanting your daughter's face, but I also think that it does involve some transparency to what actually occurred. I think all of y'all was emotional. The owner was kind of being shy. She reposted this on her IG. The amount of people who are enjoying the demise of others and actually rooting for a local business to fail or be sued or worse is creepy and sad. We're talking about something so insignificant and it's only sensationalized because people do not like the fact they are so successful. That's all. We're all for women empowerment unless the woman becomes too powerful or too rich. Then we have men on TikTok saying we should root against them. Weird. At Hazel Boutique is actually our competitor in NJ, and we would never want to see them or any local business go under. When you open a local business, you take a risk others aren't willing to take. Create jobs, pay into local taxes, use all of your savings, and try to open something in your local community against all odds today. Shein, Amazon, etc. They bought a table that's been there in a packed store forever without breaking. Someone finally broke it. Oh well. Life goes on. Thank God that G's supposed to be capitalized, ma'am. No one was injured, more importantly. Lastly, if I take my kids to anyone's home or business and they damage something, no one will have to ask for my license because I will already offer to replace it as I'm responsible for my child, period. Thank you, Amanda Jean, NYC. Aw. Ma'am, she tried to pay for the table and no one had to ask her for it. She went up there to see how much it cost. So you have to give credit where credit is due. It is a learning lesson for both of them. Do I think that Hazel Boutique should be shut down? No. But I do think that they need to address their protocol and learn from this particular incident because it could have been a lot worse and it could have actually caused them their business if someone had gotten injured. The table was not safe for that particular space. You got to do better. When people bring up, we've used our savings, we took the risk, blase. Yes, you did. And congratulations to those of you that have been successful at doing it. But then you also can't throw that in people's face. When you get backlash that you rightfully deserve. As always, remember that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Stay blessed.